Welcome to my EDE4103 presentation, Teaching is Being a Part of a Broadway Show. This seminar will outline my philosophy of teaching, as well as the theorists who support my beliefs, and will present what my philosophy looks like in practice. Before creating my seminar, I completed a survey and developed a mind map in order to ensure that both my metaphor for teaching and the principles which support my beliefs closely align with my true philosophy of education. The survey's purpose was to uncover which of the below 5 philosophies of education my beliefs align with. The results show that my beliefs closely correlate with the progressivist approach, followed by social change and humanistic. The mind map's purpose was to explore, who am I as teacher? After completing this mind map, I found that it closely correlated to the results of the survey. By deconstructing these elements, I then created my metaphor and principles. Many important elements go into producing a Broadway show, and only when each of these elements is carefully considered can the show truly succeed. A Broadway show has a director who controls what the cast is to achieve. It also has a producer who works closely with the director and the cast to ensure that the director's aims are achieved and that the cast are given the support they require to achieve those aims and succeed themselves. A stage is where the Broadway show director, producer, and cast meet to explore how the show will come together. The stage itself needs to be safe so that the cast are able to focus on the task at hand. A Broadway cast is made up of a diverse range of people who have a different role to play in the show. They are respected and valued as only they embody the characteristics and strengths needed to perform that part and make the show a whole. The cast in a Broadway show are at different stages in their acting careers and require varying levels of support from their producer. They also have different abilities. Some are very good at learning their lines, some are masters in delivering facial expressions, while others easily pick up the dances. The producer assists cast members in enhancing their strengths and overcoming their limitations by giving them the tailored support they require by the means in which they best acquire it. The best way for actors to learn to be their characters is for them to place themselves into the characters' shoes. They do things that their characters would do, they talk how their characters would talk, and they act how their character would act. By engaging themselves in this authentic experience, cast members are able to further develop their acting skills and truly embody their role. Cast members learn their lines individually and try and find ways to enhance their own performance. But when cast members work together and collaborate, they feed off one another and in turn enhance each other's performances, which takes them one step closer to achieving the director's vision. The producer and cast members of a Broadway show work with the Broadway executives in a partnership. The cast members present the show, and then the producer and Broadway executives work together to support one another and the cast in order to ensure that the cast members' performances are fully understood and that each member is getting the support they require to give their best possible performance. When all of these things are considered, cast members are able to give their best possible performance. I will now present and further explore the principles that were captured in my visual metaphor. My first principle is, children engage in their learning environment when they feel safe, respected, and valued. I believe that a child's learning environment greatly influences their engagement in learning experiences. Have you ever been in an environment where you felt unsafe? Maybe you felt unsafe due to the environment's structure, its surroundings, or perhaps the people in it ignored you or made you feel belittled. Now, what if when you were in this environment, someone told you to focus on completing tasks? It is unlikely that you would even be able to complete the task, let alone enhance your knowledge or skills in the relevant subject areas. By implementing an environment where all children feel safe, respected, and uniquely valued, a teacher allows his or her students to truly immerse themselves in the learning environment, and in turn, further develop their cognition, physicality, social skills, and emotional well-being. Just like a Broadway stage needs to be safe so that the cast members can effectively do their job, a classroom needs to be safe so that students can focus on engaging in learning. In a Broadway show, each cast member has a different role to play, so is valued by their producer and their peers. Like cast members, every student brings unique ideas and skills into a classroom. These should be respected so that students can build on that uniqueness and fulfill their place in the world. The importance of a safe environment where students are respected and valued is supported by Abraham Maslow in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow believed that people possess a set of needs, which range from basic needs such as food and shelter to growth needs. Maslow emphasized that people cannot succeed unless they are provided with opportunities to fulfill each need and move up the hierarchy. Providing an environment where children feel safe, respected, and valued gives students the opportunity to succeed, as when children learn in a safe environment, their safety needs are satisfied. When children are valued in that environment, their belongingness needs are fulfilled, in turn allowing students to move into fulfilling their esteem needs, where they can focus on accomplishing their goals. Implementing an environment where children feel safe, respected, and valued begins with ensuring that our students will be physically safe. A teacher can do this by making sure that the room is kept at a comfortable temperature, that the power cords are out of the way and have safety plugs administered, and that all students have easy access to bathrooms, water, and food. From here, the teacher then needs to ensure that all students are treated with respect and are valued. The first step in doing this is to get to know our students, offer them tailored support, and praise them for any growth in personal and cognitive accomplishments. It is also important for teachers to treat students with respect and value them, in order to model the expected behaviour to others. One can do this by being kind, valuing diversity, and implementing lessons and visual elements into the classroom, which explores students' culture, background, and interests. The second principle, which reflects my personal philosophy, is children's learning is enhanced when their individual development levels, learning abilities, and learning styles are catered for. When teachers employ traditional methods of teaching, which focus on transferring knowledge to students through homogeneous teacher-directed lessons, that the large majority of students are not able to effectively acquire relevant knowledge or skills, and in turn, not able to reach their full potential. But when teachers go beyond these methods and actually acknowledge, consider, and cater for each child's individuality, they are giving students the opportunities they need to be able to access the concepts, engage in the learning experiences, and take steps closer to reaching their full potential. Just like a producer needs to give tailored support to each individual cast member, so should a teacher to his or her students. Both parties must give guidance in the ways in which their cast or students best grow from, in turn giving them endless opportunities to reach their goals and succeed. My belief that children's learning is enhanced when their individual development levels, learning abilities, and learning styles are catered for is supported by Lev Vygotsky and David Kolb. Vygotsky's theory of cognitive development emphasizes the importance of teachers gaining sound understandings of their students' cognitive development levels, with Vygotsky outlining that if teachers underestimate their students' abilities, they are limiting children's achievements, and if they overestimate their abilities, it is to the detriment of a child's future success. Kolb also understands the significant impact that understanding students' individuality can have on their development and success, which is why he developed the model of learning styles. Kolb believes that an individual's learning style is dependent on two pairs of preferences that we have in relation to how we approach learning. From these preferences, 4 learning styles are possible, which include diverging, assimilating, convergent, and accommodative. Kolb believes that when teachers uncover which learning styles each of their children have, they are able to better plan for and implement enriching learning experiences. The first consideration in ensuring that we cater to individual children's development levels, abilities, and styles is to get to know the students in our classroom so that we can uncover these elements. One should do this by talking to students and their past teachers, and by exploring and analysing how they perform in and respond to different learning experiences. Once we have done this, we will need to differentiate for those learner needs. It is important that all students acquire the curriculum content for their year level, and teachers can ensure this happens by employing a number of strategies. We can vary the pace of instruction and review prior learning. We should also allow each student to engage in learning experiences and effectively learn concepts by incorporating elements that cater for all of Mead's learning styles within lessons. This means providing opportunities for students to observe, explicitly discuss concepts, engage in hands-on activities, and find possible solutions to problems. My third principle is children learn through authentic experiences. Teachers stand at boards and relay information, while children sit at their desks and listen. For a large majority of Western countries, this has been the face of education for years. Students within these classrooms may be memorizing content, but they are missing the fundamental element of understanding the concepts that go with it. Authentic learning focuses on giving students understandings of how content is relevant to and employed in real-life situations, allowing them to actually use their learning outside of the classroom, rather than simply be able to complete an assignment or test. Actors do not learn to embody their characters by sitting in their rooms and practicing lines. They learn by acting how their character would act. This is too the way that students learn best. They do not effectively learn how to apply skills to real-world situations by sitting at their desks memorizing content. They learn by using their knowledge and skills to solve authentic problems in the similar ways that they would be presented in their future lives. Learning through authentic means is well supported by the theorist John Dewey, whose theory of inquiry-based learning grew into authentic learning. Dewey believed that when the ends, student results, are considered to be more important than the means, real learning, that students lose interest in school and disengage. Dewey believed that traditional education is overly concerned with covering curriculum content, that students' actual learning is being compromised. He believed that authentic learning greatly improves the quality of curriculum learning, as students are then not only developing understandings of curriculum concepts, but are also learning that those concepts hold great value outside the classroom environment, as well as learning how to use them in that way. With consideration of Robert Fried's authentic learning strategies, who is an educational author who greatly supports Dewey's approach, there are many ways to incorporate authentic learning experiences into our classrooms. These include Developing lessons where the teacher is simply a facilitator and where ill-defined problems that require investigation are central to the task. This means that students will need to refer to new concepts and understandings and employ higher-order thinking skills to develop pathways and solutions. It is also important to give students opportunities to present and explore ways that certain concepts, knowledge, and skills can be applied in other real-life situations, in turn giving them the experiences they need to effectively transfer their knowledge to new circumstances. The fourth principle, which reflects my personal philosophy, is children learn through peer collaboration. When students work individually, they only have what was presented in the lesson to refer to, and can only gain further assistance from their teacher, who could be busy assisting others. If students are confused by the subject matter and do not gain assistance when necessary, they are likely to disengage from the learning experience, and perhaps the subject altogether. When students work collaboratively with their peers, they work together and along the way explore one another's perceptions and ideas, which students can question and test, as well as uncover each other's knowledge, understanding, ideas, and skills, which each student uses to enrich their own knowledge, understandings, and skills. When cast members and students work individually, they only have what is presented in the script or the lesson to guide them. But when they work collaboratively, they are exposed to new ways of thinking about something, to new perspectives, and to new ideas, in turn giving them new understandings that they can apply to improve their own work. Lev Vygotsky supports peer collaboration in his social constructivist theory. He believed that children construct their own learning and that their learning is enhanced when they are able to work with and be guided by their peers' knowledge and understandings. Vygotsky developed the zone of proximal development, which outlines that when students work individually, they work in the center circle, but when students work with peers who have diverse understandings and strengths, they move into the middle circle, which is where learning is greatly strengthened, supported, and enhanced. The first step in implementing effective peer collaboration into our classrooms is to develop a shared understanding with students that when group work opportunities occur, that learning, rather than playtime, takes place. Once this guideline is understood, one should move on to the other steps, which involve incorporating lessons which include group work, allocating groups so that there is a mixed range of ability levels, and presenting structured tasks where students all have individual roles, where students must work with each other and build off one another's understandings in order to effectively achieve the lesson outcomes, in turn ensuring that a higher level student does not take over the task from others. My fifth principle is children's learning is strengthened when teachers and families support one another. The concept of teacher and family partnerships used to involve parents coming in for reading groups, parents showing up at class assemblies, and teachers writing letters to parents if problems occurred. But now, people are realising the benefits that exist when this partnership goes beyond superficial means and is actually used to support each child's learning and development. Parents were their children's first teachers. They know their children better than anyone else, and when a teacher works with parents, they uncover explicit insights which the teacher can use to better support and enhance each child's learning. Broadway executives give feedback on how cast character development can improve. In the same way, parents provide insights about their children to their teacher. When the producer and teacher take on this indispensable feedback, they take steps closer to ensuring that their cast or students give their best possible performances. A theorist whose beliefs closely align with my own is Urie Bronfenbrenner, who developed the ecological systems theory. As seen in the image, Bronfenbrenner presented 5 environmental systems in which influence our behaviour. The microsystem represents a person's primary environments, which for children encompasses their home and their school, while mesosystem involves the relationships between those microsystems. Bronfenbrenner outlines that the connections that exist between microsystems form new experiences for the person, which are positive or negative depending on the relationships that exist between the environments, and that these directly influence how that person develops and succeeds in later life. So how can we develop supportive relationships with the families of our students? It begins with everyday interaction. Allow families to be involved in everyday classroom activities and incorporate regular communication to allow for any issues of concern or wishes to be openly shared. The means of communication being face-to-face, phone calls, or email, whichever way that best suits each individual family. Once familiarity and trust is developed, take opportunities to discuss each child's strengths, interests, and development with the families. It is important to explain how they can help support their child's learning outside of the classroom, as well as to uncover the insights which a teacher can use to inform learning and better support each child. From here, ongoing communication is key to maintaining mutual support. I believe that if all of these principles are carried out in a teacher's everyday practices, that their students will be provided with a positive and enriching learning experience. That concludes my presentation on my philosophy of teaching. I hope that you enjoyed it.